welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing our stitched bookmark die set, and we're also going to be introducing our book collection die set, and both of these are so much fun. So let's go ahead and check them out. The book collection die set has all of these pieces that you can layer together to create your own perfect book collection. I mean, they are so cute and sweet. I love all the different styles and sizes, and we even have a little tassel bookmark that you can add to the books too. And so this is how you layer these different ones. There's these ones where you can see the pages on them. They're kind of like a side view of the book. And you'll see there's a little embossed detail. And that's where you're going to layer this little piece over top. So that's going to be kind of like the outside cover of the book. And now you're seeing the pages on the inside, which is so cute. And you'll see that we have two different sizes in that style. Then we have some other books that have these really cool kind of cut out details on them. And so if you want to add color to the cutout details, you can actually layer these other little tiny books right behind. So the tiny books can either be an individual book or it's a really easy layering piece behind those little details in these different books, which I just think are so pretty. I love the little cutouts and the stitching. Now you'll see here that we have another style that has some more cutouts, and that one can layer over that taller, more simple book. So once again, you can either use the simple books as books on their own, or you can layer them behind these pieces to add color to all of those different little cutouts. And then we have that little end, that little tassel that's like part of a bookmark, and you can have that layering out of the top of one of the tall books, or you can also have it layering out of one of these side view books there, and I just think this is so cute. I mean, that little tassel just like makes the whole thing for me. Now, another really cool feature of these books is that it works with our little Woodland Library add-on. So the little Woodland Library add-on stamp set has all of these cute little book titles, and the book titles also fit perfectly in this book. So you can stamp any of those book titles into your little books, and it's just another way to add a really fun detail to these book collection books. And of course, these book collection books are a really, really great match for our little Woodland Library stamp set too. Now we're going to take a look at the stitched bookmark die, which of course has the bookmark, and then it also has these cute little reinforcers, a little lamp, some little books, and a cute little plant as well. Then it has this little shelf creator piece, and so this little piece layers perfectly into the bookmark. So you can either have the bookmark plain, or you can die cut these cute little shelves from it. So we're just going to center that right into the bookmark, and then you can hold it in place with some low-tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and you'll see now it's created a bookmark that has bookshelves on it, which I think is just the cutest thing ever. And then once you have your bookshelf piece cut, you can cut a plain bookmark and layer that behind there to kind of fill in the back of your cute little bookshelves. And then what I love about these bookshelves is you can decorate them with the cute little items that we've included in the stitch bookmark die set. So we've got these little reinforcer tabs, and we have them in different styles, different thicknesses, just depending on the look that you're going for. And you can add those to the top of your bookmark or not, depending on whatever look you want to do. And then in those little bookshelves, you can fill it with anything. You can fill it with the cute little dies that we have in the set, or with some of your favorite stamped images too. And so some of these dies we have in the set is this cute little lamp, and you'll see it has a little cut line there right in the lamp, and all you have to do is just tuck the little light right in. It just fits right inside, and you'll see, I mean, look at this. Is this not the cutest little thing? It reminds me of like playing dollhouse. It's just so cute with all these little images. And then of course we have the cute little books, and then we have this little planter. And so you see we have the little pot there, and it's got a little cut line there, and we just kind of open that up with a little pokey tool, and then you can add your plant right into the pot, and that is just so sweet and so perfect for this bookshelf. So here you can see how you can layer the different pieces into the bookshelf and the different looks that you can get from it. I love the look of the dies in this, which is so super cute, but you can also mix and match it with your stamp sets too, and that's where we're going to be doing right now. So here I have some really awesome knock on wood pattern paper, which has this great wood grain, and we're going to be die cutting our bookmark from that. Then we're going to take our awesome shelf creator piece, and we're going to layer that into the bookmark that we just die cut. So you just center that right in there, just eyeball it, hold it in place with some low-tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and now we have these cute little bookshelves. Now for the back of the bookshelves, I'm going to go ahead and take that bookmark die, and I'm going to cut some of this really pretty falling leaves paper. I love this kind of blue gingham plaid. It's just so pretty. And so we're going to die cut that with our die, and now you can see we can layer the shelves over top of that. Now I decided to give this bookmark a little pop, so I'm going to take some foam strips and just layer them all around the outside of this bookmark so that it'll have a nice pop, and that blue will kind of be in the background, almost like a little wallpaper or something decorative in this bookshelf. And oh my goodness, this is looking so cute already. And now we have shelves that are perfect to decorate with. So we're going to bring back all those little die cuts that we worked on at the beginning of the video. We have the cute little books and the lamp and that tiny little plant. And what I'm going to do is just use some markers in a shade just a little bit darker than each color, just to add a little bit of detail. So I'm just doing kind of like little lines along the outside. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can just kind of scribble on a little bit of the side of the book, and it makes it look just a little shaded and a little extra something special on there. Last but not least, I'll do the little plant there. So I've got the little pot, and then I'll just blend that out with a little bit of a lighter marker, just like that. And then I'm adding just a little bit of dark green onto the leaves. And you'll see that it just gives them a nice little pop as we add them onto the scene. So for this cute little lamp, I'm going to add a foam square behind it so that it has a nice pop. And I'm going to do the same thing for the plant as well. But then for the books, I'm just going to use tape runner on the back of them so that that way the books kind of feel like they're kind of way back in the bookshelf. And I'm going to add a cute little critter to the front of it. So it's kind of fun to have that little dimension. Some things along the back and some things popped up. Now, to bring in some more cuteness for this bookmark, we're going to be bringing in the brand new stamp set Little Woodland Library, and I am in love with these little reading critters, and of course they are perfect to go on a bookmark. And so we're going to be layering these little guys into this bookshelf bookmark that we're creating, which is just so sweet. And before we add these cute critters, there's these tiny little phrases in the Little Woodland Library stamp set that are so much fun. I love to stamp in the background. And this one here says squint, which is so cute, which is always me because I'm always trying to read without my reading glasses. And then we're going to be layering that under the mole as well, which is just adorable. So I'm going to add a little foam square to the mole and then layer him right underneath that little phrase that we just stamped. And look at that. Is that not just the cutest thing? Then I'm going to add some foam squares behind all of these critters and layer them into the different bookshelves. So we've added our little owl there with the plant, which I think is cute because he has the green book with the green plant. We have our little mama and baby bunny that are reading a book, which is just so sweet. And then for the last one, we've got this really cute open book, and I wanted to layer this little worm behind the book. So what I'm going to do is just use my scissors to just trim off the bottom of the worm so that I can layer him behind the book. And I think it looks really cute because now he's a bookworm, which is so adorable. So I'm going to add a little foam square behind his head, and now I can layer him right behind the book. And that is looking just so cute. So the next thing we need to do is work on the top of the bookmark. And we have these cute little reinforcers. We have them in different thicknesses depending on the look that you're going for. And so for this one, I decided to do one that was just a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and use an orange marker just to add a little bit of detail, just like I did to that orange book, just so that it just kind of matches the rest of the die cuts. I love adding these little marker lines because it's so quick and easy to do, and it really makes the cardstock die cuts look really special. Then we can layer the reinforcer right over top. And then here we have some of our brand new hemp twine. We have this really gorgeous orange color, which I love for fall and also for Halloween too. And so I'm just going to feed that right through, and then I can just feed the string right through the holes just like that, and then pull. And then what I like to do is just trim off any of the excess. You could also tie a knot at the top to kind of create the look of a tassel, but I just think this bookmark is just so cute. Here you can see just how adorable this is. There is just something so cute about a bookmark that is also a bookshelf. I mean, it just makes me smile. Now here, I wanted to show you a comparison to the same design I did, but I made it completely flat. So you could either do it with a nice pop of foam like I did in the video here, or there you can see one that's the exact same design but nice and flat, just depending on whatever look you're going for. Now, I love the bookmark as a bookshelf, but you can also use the bookmark without the bookshelf concept. So let's take a look at what that would look like right here. So I'm going to take that plain bookmark die, and I'm going to die cut some of this really rainbow paper. And I love this paper because it's got the rainbow kind of school paper lines. I think it's just so cute. So I went ahead and die cut that pattern paper, but I also die cut some more from white cardstock. So I die cut 2 more plain from white cardstock. And what we're going to do is layer these together. The pattern paper is a little bit thin, so I thought if I layered a few of these together, it would make it feel a little bit more sturdy. I also am making this for my 4-year-old son, so I wanted to make sure that he could really play with it and he would hold up to all of his playing around and using it in his books. So what I thought would be fun would be to personalize this. And so I'm going to make this for my son, but I'm really excited to make them for all of his friends too. I just think this is just so super cute, and it would be really fun to personalize this for someone in your life. So here I took out our Louie's ABCs dies, and I'm die cutting them from some different colors of cardstock. So we have guava, sunflower, cilantro, peacock, and then blue jay. And once again, I'm going along with this rainbow theme to match my pattern paper. But of course, if you were designing a personalized bookmark, you could use all sorts of different papers that would really personalize it to your recipient. My son loves rainbow colors, so this is just perfect for him. So now I'm going to go ahead and start layering all of my letters on there, and I'm using some liquid glue from the glue tube to layer all of these on to spell out my son's name, Miles. Now the Louie's ABCs are really big die cut letters, but if you had a longer name, we have smaller die cut letters, or you could also use an alphabet stamp set too to personalize this. And so I just think this is such a sweet gift, especially if you were giving someone maybe a gift certificate to a bookstore or a book to read for Christmas. I think this would just be a fun little extra thing to add into the book just to make it extra special. Now to add the string to the bookmark, I am going to be using some unicorn tail sparkle lawn trimmings. This stuff is so beautiful because it's like a gradient rainbow. There you can see it, and it has this really pretty sparkle kind of interwoven into it. So it's perfect to go along with this bookmark and our whole rainbow theme. So what I did was I cut a bunch of this, and I'm actually kind of quadrupling it up, and then I'm going to feed it through the hole of the bookmark, and then I can just feed it back through that little loop and create this really gorgeous kind of custom tassel. So here you can see we've got all of that lawn trimmings, and then all I'm going to do is just tie a knot at the top, and that's going to give it the feel of a little tassel, which I think is going to be really cute on this bookmark. Already my son was so excited about the sparkly lawn trimmings when I gave him this bookmark. It's just so cute. Now I'm just going to trim off the end to make it look a little cleaner. And now this cute little bookmark is done. It just took me about 10 minutes to make, and it's such a sweet and beautiful gift. So if you make some custom bookmarks, make sure to share them with us because they are so much fun to make. And I love that you can make a bookmark with bookshelves, or you can do a more plain bookmark with one die set, which is so awesome. Now, something that's really cool about this die set is that you can do something else just a little bit different. And this idea is from Elena from our design team. And I was blown away when I saw this idea because I didn't think of it when we first designed the die. So what I'm doing right now is taking the largest of the stitch rectangles, which is 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to die cut some white cardstock. And now, instead of using the bookmark, we're going to use the shelves, and we're going to use them to create windows on our card. So what we're going to do is just layer this up towards the top of this panel. And so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to kind of center it there and then hold it in place with some low tack tape. And then we'll run it through the die cut machine. And this is going to give us 4 cute little windows, which I think looks awesome already. But we decided to do 8 little windows. So we're going to take this whole piece and just line it up below these windows to create more little windows onto our panel. So this is a really fun way to use this bookmark die set in a totally unexpected way. And I love being able to take my die sets and get lots of different uses out of them, whether it's bookmark bookshelves, plain bookmarks, or we can go ahead and create cute little windows into our cards, which, I mean, look at this. It's so much fun. So now that we have all of our little windows cut, we're going to work on stamping a sentiment in that little bottom piece there. So I think that's really nice to leave that little bottom part because we can stamp a really cute sentiment in here. And for our sentiment, we're going to be using the little Woodland Library stamp set again. We're going with a whole book theme today. And so I've gone ahead and added my sentiment right there, centering it. I'm going to pick it up with the door of my Misty, and then I'm going to ink that up with some black licorice ink, and then we're going to stamp this on to the bottom, and it says, "I hope your day is literally the best," which is so super cute. Now that we have our sentiment all done, we can go ahead and work on the base for this. And so we're going to be taking out some pattern paper from the Really Rainbow collection, since we were already just using that for the bookmark. And I'm just going to trim a piece down to be 5.5 by 4.25 inches so that it layers behind this panel we've created. Then here I have a card base that's 5.5 by 4.25 inches, and I'm going to take some tape runner and layer that onto the card base and then add our pattern paper onto that. Then for our panel that we created the windows out of, I'm going to be adding some foam squares onto the back of that. So some foam squares and foam tape all the way around to give it a nice pop so that it really has some nice dimension with that blue paper behind it. Then we need to fill our cute little windows, and to do that we're going to be using the little Woodland Library stamp set, which is so super cute. And so here I've gone ahead and stamped and colored a bunch of the images from this set. Now there are books that are in this set, and there's also a book in the little Woodland Library add-on stamp set, and that stamp set has all of these cute little book titles. And so I went ahead and stamped the cute little book titles, like If You Give a Squirrel a Nut, or Acorns of Wrath, or Fox and Socks on all of these little books, which looks absolutely adorable. Then for all of these cute characters, I'm going to be adding foam squares to the back of all of them and then layering a different character into each window. And so some of the characters are going to be in the window, or like the Foxy's going to go across two windows. And then we're going to fill it up with all of the cute books and stack of books that are included in the little Woodland Library stamp set. So I think this is such a cute way to feature images from all sorts of different stamp sets. You could use this same design for a Christmas card or a birthday card where you could fill each one with balloons. I just think this little window idea is just so cute, and it's so much fun to get a different use out of the stitched bookmark die. So now we're adding that cute little skunk. I mean, look at him. He is just adorable. And then here we're going to take a little stack of books, and then we're going to add another character on top of the book. So I just think, oh my gosh, it's just so cute and sweet. Next, I'm going to layer that open book and then the cute little bookworms. And then we're going to add our little mama and baby bunny. And then I had some little glasses. So we're going to add the glasses there over to the corner where the mole is reading his book. And then I thought it would be fun to add a cute little speech bubble. So I'm using all the speech bubbles, which is a great general stamp set because it has all the speech bubbles in all these different sizes. So I'm going to stamp that out in some black licorice ink. And then I'm going to go into the little Woodland Library stamp set. And all these little tiny phrases are designed to fit into those little speech bubbles. So you can either stamp them right on the base of your card, or you can stamp them in these cute little speech bubbles. And I've done this here with Hello Bookworm, which I thought would be really cute to go along with our bookworm. So I'm going to die cut that with the coordinating die. And then I'm just going along the inside of the speech bubble with just a light blue marker, just to give it a little bit of a pop. So it didn't look so plain with all of my cute colored critters. And then we can just add a foam square to the back of that and layer that into the card to fill in that little gap there. And I think that little phrase is so cute. Hello, bookworm. I hope your day is literally the best. Oh my gosh, I just love this so much. It just makes me smile. And speaking of making me smile, I love seeing all of these cute options that you can do with a stitch bookmark together. We have the bookmark bookshelf, we have the plain bookmark, and those cute little windows. Oh, I just love it so much. And now we're going to work with the book collection dies, which also just make me smile. As we can't tell, I am an avid reader. I love to read, and I just love all of these book themed products. So here you can see that I've die cut all of these different books out of different colors of cardstock. We have vanilla malt for the pages. I have some white cardstock in there. I'm going to die cut another book out of peacock cardstock, sugar plum, cilantro, apricot, sticky note, fake tan, sunflower, blue jay, and guava. So many fun colors. And here I wanted to show you how we're going to be layering some of these books behind each other to fill in the different colors of the cutouts, which is super cute. At the beginning of the video, I showed you to do it with the smaller books. Well, I wanted to show you that you can also do it with the wider books too. So they're all designed to work with each other in that way. So you'll see how I'm going to layer them in just a second. But before that, I just had to show you how the little Woodland Library add-on stamp set fits perfectly into the book. So you can put any of those book titles in there. So I'm going to put Love and Peace in this book, and I'm stamping it in some pumpkin spice ink because it's a little bit of a darker orange because I wanted that tone-on-tone look for this book. And so I'm going to stamp that right on the top, and I love that you can bring that little stamp set into these cute die cut books. I just think it makes it feel extra special. To layer all of these, I really like to use liquid glue to make sure that it's nice and secure, and some of these pieces are thin, so it's a nice way to add them on there. And so now I'm going to layer the cover to the outside of these pages, and you'll see for these page books, we have the two different sizes, which is really nice when you're creating a stack of these. So now we've got our pink book and our kind of navy blue book, and now we're going to start working on layering some of the other pieces. So I'm adding some liquid glue to this apricot lighter orange book, and that's going to layer behind my Love and Peace book. And you'll see that it's going to fill in those cute little cutout details with just, once again, going with that tone-on-tone look for each of these books. And so I'm going to repeat the same thing here for my next book. So we've got the darker yellow, and we're going to put the lighter yellow behind it. Now, for our taller books that have a little bit more detail, I wanted to show you how you could also just cut your pieces out of white cardstock and add color with your markers or your paints or whatever you happen to have. So in this case, I took a marker that was a little bit lighter than my color of cardstock, and I'm just adding that color right onto the white cardstock. Then I can layer the white cardstock behind. So you could either use your different colors of cardstock in different shades or pattern papers, or you could also just use your markers to create that lighter shade. And I think that's a really cool look. look too. So now that we've added the marker to those, we can go ahead and add some liquid glue to the back of each of those books and then layer them onto the markered pieces. And once again, I love the tone on tone look. You could also do pops of color. So you could like have a pop of orange coming out of this turquoise book. So there's lots of cool ways that you can mix and match these together. Now our cute rainbow books are all done, so I'm going to go ahead and work on the rest of the card. And so for that, I'm going to be using the brand new stitched rounded rectangles. And so there I'm going to be using that second largest of the large set, and I've die cut that from some white cardstock. And we're going to be stamping a sentiment on here, and I'm going to be using the Little Woodland Library stamp set again to create a really cute teacher card. And so I'm going to have part of the sentiment at the top and then part of the sentiment at the bottom of this cute little panel so that it kind of frames the books. This is going to be a nice, clean and simple card, but the rainbow colored books are just going to be so gorgeous on it. And so it says, "Teacher, you are tops in my book," and I just love the puns so much. So now that we have our stamping done, we can start to layer the books on there. And I'm going to add foam squares to the back of all of the books, and we're going to be creating our own little bookshelf, which is a really fun way to use these dies. Now for this card, we're using only dies on it, but Shari is going to show you in just a little bit how to combine these cute little books with different critters that you might have in your stamping stash. So I love that there's so many cute and fun ways to layer these books. I love this little rainbow bookshelf. I have something similar at home, which is what inspired me to make this card, and I just think it's so cute, and it just packs a big punch with all of those beautiful, happy colors. So now we're adding our blue book, and then the last one that we need is our purple book. And so this little panel is looking so cute, and I wanted some rainbow paper to go along with it. And we have some brand new paper that's called Candy Cane Lane, and technically it's for the holidays. But what I love about it is it's got these gold pinstripes and these beautiful colorful stripes that's perfect for all year round. So I love this rainbow paper so much, and I love that I can take it from the holidays throughout the whole year. So we're going to layer this piece onto a standard size card that's going to be 5.5 by 4.25 inches. And then we're going to layer our rainbow book panel on top of this. And to do that, I'm going to add a bunch of foam squares on the back to give it a nice pop. And then we can just layer that right onto the card. And this is just so pretty. I love the bright white panel with the rainbow books and the rainbow paper in the background that has that gold foil texture. I just think it's so much fun. And these little books are just so much fun to play with. I am just in love with them. Once again, they're so cute on their own. I love how you can stamp the little book title in there too. And then now Shari is going to show us a fun way to take these books and combine it with some of her favorite stamp sets. So take it away, Shari.
So I decided to use the little bears from Den Sweet Den, as well as some images from Little Woodland Library to create my card. So I have the bear sitting up that's going to hold that open book, and the two little bears from Den Sweet Den. I've already colored and cut them out. And then I have some images from Little Woodland Library as well. I'm using the rounded rectangle stackable die to create a panel out of craft cardstock. And then I will also be using some of the 12 by 12 falling leaves paper. This is that blue, and I'll be using that grid or that plaid on the back. I just think this is a great background for this card. So I've trimmed that down to 4.25 by 5.5, and then this craft rectangle will just be layered over top. For the books, using the book collection dies, I will be using some of the smaller patterns in the Falling Leaves Petite paper pack. So here are all those book collection dies. In addition to the pattern paper, I'm also going to pull in some coordinating solids. So I have the Tide Pool and the number 2 pencil. These are going to be great for those books that are on the side with the pages showing because you won't see the pattern very much. So that's what I'll be cutting out of those cardstocks. And for the pages of the books, I'll be using a speckled eggshell cardstock. So I've already cut out all those ones from the solid cardstocks, and now you can see I'm pulling out my pattern papers to cut out some of the other books that I will put on my card. Now, some of these are 2 layers so that we have patterns and colors that fill in some of the openings that the die cuts. So you'll see how I layer these together. This one is 2 pattern papers. I cut the solid book. It's the same size as the book with the little holes cut out, or I guess they're diamonds actually, in the little label looking shape. So when you layer that behind there, that fills in those openings that the die cuts. Now, for the books that are on their side, there is a little etched line that the die creates, a little embossed line that shows you exactly where to line up the solid piece to make the book cover and the spine. And I'm just adding these with a little bit of liquid glue to that speckled eggshell cardstock. I do have one more book I need to layer together. Now this one, they're both the same size and they cut two different patterns of holes, but the holes do not line up with each other. So all you have to do is layer them one behind the other, and whichever one you have on top, it will fill in the holes. Now I wanted to add a little more detail to these books, so I am just pulling out some markers that match the color tones in a little bit darker color of my pattern paper. So you see I have a darker yellow here, but it's that same kind of mustardy yellow color. And I'm just adding a little bit of solid detail to the books. I'm kind of using those little lines that the die creates as a guideline and just adding some little different details. So I'm adding some color. I'll add this in between those two lines on this one. And it just kind of gives them a little more life and a little more dimension. I'm also doing the same with a white gel pen, just adding some little detail lines. I'm adding some right over where I colored. Others I'm adding to other places where I did not add the marker. But this is kind of like when you see old books and they have that little line of gold or, white, whatever. I just think this adds some fun detail to these dies. Now back to my craft panel that I cut earlier, I want to ink up the edges and I'm using some tea dye distress ink. I just think that this gives it a nice little vignette look and it really makes the stitching stand out a little bit. So not too much ink, just a light dusting of this ink around all the sides of this rectangle panel. Now, for my sentiment, I'm doing something a little different. I made a sentiment that's kind of like a little circular bubble at the top left corner rather than using a sentiment banner. So what I'm doing first is cutting a piece of speckled eggshell cardstock with that same rounded rectangle that I cut the craft panel from. Then I'm going to take the sentiment from the little woodland library that says your tops in my book. And I'm going to line this up in one line, which I know doesn't quite make sense because I'm going to stack my sentiment, but UR is one stamp and tops in my book is another. And I want to put the word tops with UR. So I'm just selectively inking that up in some walnut ink. Then I will clean my stamp off and I will selectively ink up the last three words of the sentiment and then stack them one on top of another. Now that my sentiment is stamped, I will find a stitch circle that fits around it pretty nicely. This one's going to work very well. And I'll just line that up so my sentiment is inside of the circle. I will hold this in place with a little bit of low tack tape and run that through my die cut machine. And now I have this little bubble at the top of my panel. I think this is a really fun look for something a little different. And it reminds me of like a comic book that has the little bubbles or the little um, jagged edge, I guess, starburst in the corner where it has text. So now I can add these two panels to my card base and then I'll have a place to start to create my little scene. So I'm adding my pattern paper first and then I will add this craft rectangle right on top of that. Now I'm pulling in my little books and I am recreating a card I've already made, so I kind of already know the layout of my books, but if I wasn't, I would kind of lay these out and figure out exactly where I want them to go. But since I already know, I can go ahead and start to put them down with some foam adhesive. Now I'm using those thin foam strips. Those are really great for these skinny books. And then I'm also kind of combining it with some half thickness or thin thickness foam squares so that yellow book where you can see the pages, it's kind of set back a little bit. And this is just giving me some different layers of dimension with these books. But I love that they're kind of popped up off of the background and the different dimensions makes them look like they're different size books. Now this one I'm using some regular thickness foam squares so it'll stick out a little bit more, and that's because I'm going to have one of the bears sitting up here and I just think that it needs that extra dimension to kind of support the size of that bear. I also have a couple books over here on the left, and I like that they're kind of leaning over and sitting on this other stack of books. I just think that's a fun little look. Now I can bring in my stamped images, and of course I have this big bear reading the book. There is the die that cuts the little paws open so it can hold the book, and I cut those out, and I'm just adding that little book to his hands. Then I have these other little bears, and they're going to be sitting on this stack of books as well. I guess this is some really big books for them to be sized for bears, but that's okay. It's a really fun, cute, little whimsical scene. I also have the little glasses. This is from the Little Woodland Library. I put those beside that little sleepy bear because I thought it would look cute, like he just fell asleep reading and left his glasses. For the big bear, I'm perching her up here at the top. And then, of course, I have my other little books to add. And as you can see, I did color those in colors that match my pattern paper, so it looks like a continuous stack of books. And this gives me a little place for my bookworm to be. And then this last little bookworm, I am adding him kind of down here. I'm adding a little foam to his tail so it's supported, and then he is down on that yellow book at the bottom. And then here is my finished card with those pattern books. I just think this turned out so cute, and it would be a perfect card for teacher and back to school.
Oh my goodness, Shari, I love this so much. The pattern paper for the books looks absolutely gorgeous. And now we have some incredible cards by our design team, and this card by Audrey, oh my gosh, it is just the cutest thing. I love her gold splatters, the striped paper, the stars in the background. It's just so much fun with the little apple and the worm. Perfect for back to school. Yanea combined the book collection dies with the stitch bookmark, and I love how she stamped the one more chapter on there and the inking she did in the background. It's absolutely stunning. Next up, we have a really fun swivel surprise card by Grace, and she combined the books with our brand new tiny gift box owl add-on. Oh my gosh, I mean, look at this. It's so sweet, and as you open the card up, you get the really fun surprise of the owl holding onto a book. I just love this swivel surprise so much. Now, Maureen got so creative. She took our books and she made them spooky for Halloween. Is this not the cutest thing ever? I just love it. And I love that she created a cute little bookmark to match her super sweet slimline card. I love how Elise stacked her books. They look absolutely amazing, and those little tassels that she cut out of metallic cardstock are just the cutest things ever. I love the little bookmarks in there. Here, Tammy created a super cute card with a coordinating bookmark, which is such a great gift for someone. I just love the colors too. This is the card by Elena that inspired me to make mine today. I love how she created those cool little windows, and I can't wait to try it with a bunch of different stamp sets in my stash. And then I love the fun, happy colors that Letitia used for her bookmark and how she added a little ribbon to the top too. It looks so beautiful. We cannot wait to see all of your bookmark and book collection cards, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!